This video is sponsored by Adam and Eve. You can use code HONEST for 50% off one item, plus free shipping in the US and Canada. Some exclusions may apply. 20% of their profit goes to fight the spread of HIV around the world, and they have 24/7 customer service and a no-hassle return. So if you ever feel the need to embrace your inner eroticism, do so at a discount. Eroticism will be all the talk within this video, and there's one woman to thank for it. Madonna is no stranger to controversy. She is the ultimate pop provocateur. She made a name for herself by consistently building up her image and power through controversy and pushing boundaries that had never even been drawn before. Some people will like to credit her success to controversy and controversy only, but that's simply not true. What kept people coming back to Madonna is her great records. If the music industry has taught us anything throughout the years, it would be that baseless controversy, especially when not attached to an art form, burns out quick. The difference is Madonna had it all under her belt: controversy, great records, and a legendary image. Moreover, the controversy that Madonna caused was extremely necessary. She single-handedly made the pop music star template that's still being followed by new stars today. Every pop star has taken a page from her book, intentionally or not, and more than none, they list her as an influence on their career in music. Madonna's legacy is forever cemented into pop culture. That's why it's so hard to imagine there being a time where it all came into question. In walks 1992's Erotica, a groundbreaking album that's now held as one of the greatest albums to be released in the 90s. But during its time of release, it was dismissed as a career-ending album, with claims that the Like a Virgin icon had finally gone too far. Madonna's career involves constant reinvention. From her debut album to her fourth album, she had gone from a non-threatening dance floor queen to an unapologetically sexual and religious boundary pusher. There was always talk of her supposedly going too far. The press said she had gone too far with Like a Virgin and the infamous 1984 VMA performance, in which her then manager told her she had ruined her career. The media went into a frenzy when she released Papa Don't Preach from her True Blue album, and with the release of Like a Prayer, she received backlash from the church, religious fans, and general listeners all around the globe. But somehow Erotica was the album that the media had officially decided Madonna had crossed too many lines, and that album did suffer greatly from the backlash. Although selling over 6 million copies worldwide, it became one of her least commercially successful albums during the time of its release, especially considering her releases before this album. The Immaculate Collection sold over 30 million copies worldwide, and Like a Prayer had sold over 15 million copies respectively, so you could easily see that Erotica was a dip in Madonna's commercial success. For this album, Madonna went under the moniker Dita Parlo, an alter ego that helped her fully escape into the world of sexuality and taboos. Throughout the album, there would also be a drastic change in her vocal approach. Erotica mostly features a more talkative, sensual, and soft vocal delivery to evoke her newfound image. A key factor in the Erotica album and it being overshadowed was the sex book that was released only a day after the album, which features iconography of Madonna along with some other well-known stars, performing sexual acts that range from group sex, the practice of BDSM, and self-pleasure. This book is about sex. Sex is not love, love is not sex, she explained.
Well, I knew that I was going to cross the line by doing it. I mean, I knew I was getting into a very shady area. I knew I was dealing with a lot of taboo subjects, and I knew that it was going to upset a lot of people, but I felt that it needed to be done, so I did it.
To what specifically then?
To censorship, to sexual, oppression, to the kind of prejudice that say, for instance, the gay community has to deal with. I think that minorities needed somebody who's popular that people looked up to step forward and say, this is okay. It's okay to feel this way. It's okay to be this way. It's okay to have sexual fantasies. It's okay to be gay. It's okay to be bisexual. It's okay to be all of these things, because when we are constantly told to be ashamed of our feelings, then everyone's living a lie, and this feeling manifests itself in very unhealthy ways. And I don't think that's good.
Because of the publicity and your perceived preoccupation with sex, most people, I think, and forgive me if I'm being offensive, but most people probably perceive you as being promiscuous.
Mm-hmm.
How does that feel?
Well,
I mean, do you agree?
I know it's not true, so what?
But do you agree that you have maybe prompted people to feel that way?
No, I just think that it shows how ignorant people are and how people aren't really listening to what I have to say. Because what I'm saying is that you should feel comfortable with your sexuality and that you shouldn't be ashamed of it. I'm not telling everybody to go out and, have orgies every night with people. I mean, that's ludicrous. I don't think people are really listening to what I have to say.
Do you feel a responsibility to your fans to kind of be a good person?
Well, I feel a responsibility to myself to be a good person. And hopefully that in turn will inspire people.
The sex book became a massive success and the fastest selling coffee table book of all time, going on to sell over 1.5 million copies worldwide. Madonna has expressed that she made a mistake releasing it within such close proximity of Erotica, because the book caused immense backlash and a huge media frenzy. All everyone was concerned about was the book and not the album, and Erotica is one of her favorite albums, but it got overshadowed by the book.
Maybe your brazenness about sex conceals some insecurity within yourself.
I think that's just someone who's afraid of what I have to say's way of trying to undermine what I'm saying.
The album was cultivated in 1992, during the center of the AIDS epidemic hysteria. Madonna has always been a straightforward ally to the gay community. The influence the epidemic had on this album is very visible, seeing that she had lost so many friends, fans, and mentors to the virus, which is what the tearful pop ballad In This Life talks about. Specifically, 2 of her friends she had lost to AIDS, and how she hoped that the epidemic would end during her lifetime. Contrary to popular belief and what the sex book might have led people to believe during its time of release, Erotica is not a raunchy album at all. In fact, it's very tasteful and diverse in subject matter and musical soundscapes. Even with the usage of an alter ego, it's one of her most personal and fully realized albums. It's like reading a diary from one of music's most legendary women. The title track is a sensual introduction to her dominatrix alter ego, Dita. It's a groovy hip house inspired song. It sums up the album perfectly and sees Madonna taking control and commanding her audience, in this case to do as she says, and features an ode to S&M. Fever keeps on theme with the title track sonically and is a soft house inspired cover of Peggy Lee's track of the same name. As the album progresses, you'll notice Madonna talks a lot about the people who she's lost and loved, and Bye Bye Baby is the first song where it takes place. This is not a love song, she explains, over a musical bed set up like a scorned lover, leaving a voicemail to a lover that hasn't been good to her. Deeper and Deeper recalls her iconic hit Vogue. Bad Girl is an essential ballad on the album that tells the story of a girl who draws upon codependency to different substances because life hasn't been going well due to her choices. Waiting is another hip-hop and R&B inspired song, where Madonna pleads for a lover not to leave her. It is accompanied with another track on the album titled Did You Do It, in which it shares the same instrumental with. However, the premise of the song is completely different and features a comical rap about a potential one-night stand. Waiting is followed by Thief of Hearts, where Madonna has status anxiety about another woman stealing her man. Where Life Begins is a song about oral pleasure, with some funny lines like Colonel Sanders says it's the best, finger looking good. Words is an interesting departure from the rest of the album, which basically sums up the cliche saying, words can hurt. Rain is certainly the most commercial and traditional pop track on the album. It's a ballad with the universal message of being in love, accompanied with some sexual innuendos pertaining to Mother Nature. Not only is it the most friendly on the album, it's the most vaguely written. So it could be interpreted in many different ways. Why Is It So Hard is a song that is connected to the stigma of the AIDS epidemic. She simply asks the message, why is it so hard to love one another? The lyricism on the track is a little too general, which I think is its biggest mishap. The album closes with Secret Garden, a jazzy hip-hop confessional track dedicated to her vagina. Erotica has been described by Rolling Stone as a concept album about love and intimacy, under the shadow of plague, and a post-AIDS album about romance. The album put Madonna at the forefront as an ally to the LGBTQ community. Present day, Madonna's so-called career-ending album has been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and is recognized as one of the most revolutionary albums of all time. In fact, the backlash was so significant that it birthed Bedtime Stories, another great Madonna album that was cultivated to soften her image after Erotica. Erotica and the Sex Book are truly groundbreaking. They are the first moments in history where a mainstream pop artist was truly unapologetic when it came to sexual desires and being a voice for the gay community. She bared it all, literally. Pop music would simply not be the same without Madonna, but especially without this essential album in her career. Its influence can be seen in every commercial pop star you can think of, from Beyonce, Rihanna, Halsey, Britney Spears, Lady Gaga, Ariana Grande, and the list continues on and on. Erotica may not be her most popular, but it's amongst her most influential and important.